The PGA Tour is in Memphis for the FedEx St. Jude Classic, where one of its star powers, Phil Mickelson, is making headlines for putting family over legacy.
This is a special moment for us. I mean, my daughter's speaking. She's giving the speech there at graduation. It's one of those things you just need to be there.
Also in the field, world number 9, Ricky Fowler, looking to go one better than last week's runner-up finish.
If we're able to put ourselves back in contention after last week, then we'll be in a good spot going into the U.S. Open.
Plus, an entire season comes down to tonight for the best players in college golf. We hand out 2 of the most prestigious awards right now on Golf Central.
Golf Central, brought to you by Titleist.
Last week during the Memorial Tournament, Phil Mickelson announced his decision to skip the U.S. Open to attend his daughter's high school graduation in California. This week his focus is on the FedEx St. Jude Classic, where he's making his 5th appearance. Lefty was part of the Pro-Am this morning. While Phil's decision was big news in the golf world, he said it was not very difficult for him to make. As some suggested, remember, Mickelson is a U.S. Open win away from the career Grand Slam. For more on Mickelson and his U.S. Open announcement, we take you live to George Safaricas at TPC Southwind. George, any more news on Lefty's decision?
Yeah, Lisa, it's clearly been gathering a lot of headlines since he first made the announcement this past weekend that he's going to skip next week's U.S. Open to attend the high school graduation of his oldest daughter, Amanda, next Thursday out in California. Today, Mickelson met with the media. He shared what exactly went into this decision and why it was also important for him to play in this week's FedEx St. Jude Classic.
I love the Open, but this is a special moment for us. I mean, my daughter's speaking. She's giving the speech there at graduation. It's one of those things you just need to be there. So it wasn't a hard decision. I think about the '99 U.S. Open quite a bit. I think about a lot of things that happened there with Payne making the putt to beat me and losing by a shot, the emotions there. But the most emotional experience of my life is the birth of my kids. I think pretty much every parent will say that, and that occurred the day after. So I have this emotional low of losing the U.S. Open by a shot and then experiencing one of the greatest emotional high you ever could as a person, and the very next day. So I think back about that time quite often. As you kind of go through life before college, everything's kind of about yourself, and then when you meet the person in your life, everything's about us, and then when you have kids, it's about them. And so it's hard to have that perspective on how you will feel about your kids before you have them, or certainly even before you meet your person you're going to share your life with. So it's hard to have that kind of perspective in college and whatnot. But as you get older and you share these moments, you realize the greatest moments in life are those spontaneous moments with your family, and this is one of those moments that I'll cherish forever.
Very poignant words from the father of 3 as far as what went into the behind-the-scenes conversations between Phil and his oldest daughter, Amanda. If there was any lobbying either way for him to go play the U.S. Open or for him to attend her high school graduation, he said there was no conversation. He just told her, I'm going to be there, and he said he can't wait to see her speak, as she is one of the speakers at her high school graduation. As far as this event, Lefty's posted 3 top 3 finishes his last 4 starts at TPC Southwind, looking to get his game in gear going into the meat of the summer schedule this week and beyond. Lisa.
George, appreciate it. We'll talk to you in just a minute as we talk to a couple family guys themselves, Billy Kratzert, Tim Rosafort. Rosie, let's start with you from the family perspective. I mean, like Phil said, this is a no-brainer. Clearly, you get that. I mean, anybody can, right?
Certainly do. And Amanda's graduation is his first priority. But talking to him yesterday, he told me he's still holding out hope of making it in time to play the opening round of the United States Open. Now, a couple of things need to happen. One, he needs a late tee time. So hopefully Mike Davis and the USGA cooperate in that regard. We'll know tomorrow. Number 2, he needs a weather delay, some sort of weather delay where his tee time would be pushed back to somewhat in the 5 o'clock range local time. So he's saying he's going to take off that day, go to the ceremony, get up to Carlsbad and fly out on his plane. And then he might have to pull the U-turn and come back if he doesn't get the rain delay, but otherwise he's going to sail right into, there's a municipal airport only 15 minutes away from Erin Hills. And tongue-in-cheek a little bit, I asked him if he was going to watch, and he said, "Oh, I'll watch. Maybe I'll fly up and do Golf Channel. I can tell everybody how to finish second." So he hasn't lost a sense of humor throughout all this.
Billy, what about him this week? This is a golf course that he obviously likes, and he's performed well here in years past.
Yeah, and players have these kind of golf courses. Phil with 42 wins in the 5 majors. There are a lot of golf courses that fit his style and fit his liking. But when you have success on a golf course, you want to continue to go back. And there's always your fairways and the greens. He likes the Bermuda greens, even though he grew up on Poana. He likes these greens. So look for Phil to play well this week. It's a golf course that he can feel comfortable on, and who knows, maybe he'll get that break and play in the U.S. Open. But Rosie, I'm going to tell you, if he gets that break with the rain and he gets that late tee time and everything falls into place, he's the most blessed man I know on this earth.
Or maybe it's just meant to be. You never know.
Well, it could be.
You're going to give us who has the edge coming up. Will Phil Mickelson be the guy? We'll find out. There is a reason this tournament has become a regular stop on Phil's very selective tournament schedule. The last 4 years combined, he leads the field and scored a par in rounds in the 60s, and he's number 2 in birdies and eagles. Mickelson isn't the only big-name player chasing the title in Memphis this week. Ricky Fowler, he's also there fresh off a runner-up finish in the Memorial. For more on the 9th-ranked player in the world, we go back to George Savarikas. How's Ricky feeling coming off that second-place showing, George?
Yeah, Lisa, Ricky's feeling great, and he's in the midst of one of the best stretches he's seen on the PGA Tour with that runner-up finish at the Memorial, dating even back to his win at the Honda Classic. But it's been this part of the season, the last couple years, that's been a bugaboo for Ricky Fowler. He hasn't played in Memphis since 2014. That year, he finished in a tie for 13th, was runner-up at the U.S. Open the following week. The last 2 years, he skipped Memphis, then missed the cut at the U.S. Open. So this year, the FedEx St. Jude Classic once again on the schedule. I asked him why it's crucial to tee it up here at TPC Southwind.
I definitely like playing the week before majors. I feel like it allows me to kind of see where the game's at, what needs to be worked on, what needs to be tightened up. Able to do that through the week here, and minimize what I'm trying to do Monday through Wednesday, the week of a major. So ultimately, I want to be in contention here and put myself back in a chance to win. But part of that is, making sure the game's in a good spot, and if we're able to put ourselves back in contention after last week, then we'll be in a good spot going into the U.S. Open. Really just try and tighten a little bit of everything up. I felt like last week I did a good job of scoring and didn't have my best at times and was able to still get it around. But I feel like every part can be tightened up a little bit. I did drive it fairly well last week. I think I hit 80% of the fairways, but Memorial is a place with some of the wider fairways that we do play, but still playing out of the fairway is nice.
It's quite the Pro-Am round for Ricky Fowler on Wednesday. He was playing with the commish, PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan and Fowler were in the same group for the back nine. I asked Ricky, how's Jay Monahan's golf game? He said, it's actually a pretty good stick. And if you want 2014 to be any indication of what to see out of Ricky Fowler in the majors, remember that year, Lisa, he finished top 5 in all 4 majors. He played in a PGA Tour event the week before in all 4. He had 3 top 10s, 4 top 13 finishes. So this week clearly could go a long way in determining what we see out of Ricky in Wisconsin.
It certainly could, George. Thank you very much. Plus, he's rolling the ball really well, so watch out for Ricky. How about this star-studded group? Ricky Fowler playing alongside the defending champ Daniel Berger and 13-time PGA Tour winner Adam Scott. Speaking of, Daniel Berger fired 4 rounds in the 60s at TPC Southwind last year en route to his very first career PGA Tour title. Berger carded 20 birdies over the week to beat Phil Mickelson, Brooks Koepka, and Steve Stricker by 3 shots. Travis Fulton gives us an in-depth look at the defending champ's swing.
I've always said all the fun are in the outliers of the golf swing, the guys that do it their way, the non-traditional way. And this week, the defending champion of the FedEx St. Jude Classic, Daniel Berger, has certainly done it his way under the guidance of his swing coach for the last 10 years, Jeff Leishman. We're going to have some fun here. We're going to break down his swing, and I'm going to start with the impact position, as this is very conventional and what you would see on the PGA Tour. A little errant of the right foot, left hips turning out of the way, left shoulders moving up, good forward shaft length. This impact's so good since coming on tour. He's always been in the positive in strokes gained off the tee and into the green. So great impact, but how does he get here? Here's where the fun starts. We're going to split the screen here, and we're going to start here in the setup position. Daniel likes to aim a little to the left, works everything a little bit left to right. Now, two things we're going to key in on. The first, here's the starting plane. Watch where this club goes in relationship to the starting plane. You're going to see the club head travel slightly to the inside. Very unusual out on the PGA Tour. You're going to see most players where the club head gets out here on the yellow line or a little bit out in front. So he's got an inside takeaway, perhaps that tennis background in winding the racket up to the inside. Now, let's take it up to the top of the swing here. And as we get to the top, we're going to bring in another line. And this line's going to go vertical. And what I want you to look at here is how the hands travel straight down vertically in transition. Watch this. His hands travel straight down vertically, and the shaft just continues to shallow out. Now, that's uncharacteristic because you'll see most players where the hands will work out in front of them this way so the shaft can shallow. Not Daniel. He works it straight down vertically, and the shaft shallows out. So very interesting there in transition. Now, from here, we're going to go to impact, and this is where we really start to match things up beautifully. Look where that club shaft returns, right back to where it started. As he continues to turn through, his hands are going to exit back into the left, not down the line, but he's turning back to the left. And as we swing through, watch this club face here. This club face is going to look back towards the camera. So really good stuff as he returns it to the original shaft plane and then continues to turn to the left with minimal face rotation. And that's one of the reasons why he's one of the better ball strikers on the PGA Tour.
Thank you, Travis. Here's a closer look at how TPC Southwind is playing from the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America. The rough is playing 2.5 inches deep, while the greens are rolling close to 12 on stump. This is great. A special guest got to see TPC Southwind firsthand today. A little pig showed up on the 16th tee ahead of Blaine Barber's Pro-Am group. Wow, that is some pig. It's tough to win on the PGA Tour and perhaps even more difficult to pick a winner, but Billy has some numbers to back up his pick for the week and tells you who has the edge in Memphis. It's also difficult to earn two of college golf's most prestigious awards. We're handing out some hardware later on Golf Central.
Golf Central is brought to you by the new Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X. Choose the best for your game. GolfAdvisor.com. Ratings and reviews by golfers for golfers.